Don't you understand that the people who do this thing, who practice racism,
Right.
are bereft? There is something distorted about the psyche. It's a huge waste, and it's a corruption and a distortion. It's a profound neurosis that nobody examines for what it is. It feels crazy. It is crazy.
Good people, what's up, what's good, man? I'm blessed to be your host, Caleb Smith. I'm so excited, man, because we get to sit down, chop it up for another edition of Chillin With Caleb. Man, first off, I just want to say I appreciate you guys so much. We have crossed over 26,000 subscribers. I don't take that lightly. We are on the road to 30K, then 50, then 75, then 100. But man, it started off with just one. And it takes every single one of special individuals such as you to hit that subscribe button, to engage with the content, share the content, and become part of the family. So I just want to say that I thank y'all and I love y'all so much. Understand that we have way more content on the way. We have so many dope interviews that's lined up for the end of January. We got some special treats for you because January is not over just yet. Man, we still are going to pump out some really good conversations with some really great guests that you guys love and some that you have seen before. So I can't wait for those to drop potentially on Tuesday. So stay tuned for that. And then know in February, we got a very special treat for the family. So thank y'all, man. So before we even get started into this show, I just want to show my appreciation, my gratitude. Nobody's ever too cool to say thank you. So I just want to say thank you because this platform would not be possible without amazing individuals such as yourself. So starting off the show, man, I'm very excited about today's topics because we are seeing history in real time. We are seeing social discourse. We are seeing people having to pivot, certain groups having to pivot, political parties, America, and so many other things. So everybody knows about Trump's inauguration earlier this weekend. It was so ironic that it was on Martin Luther King Day. We've seen viral clips of that one black speaker, man, who was cooning and buffooning, man, and trying to imitate Martin Luther King. And sometimes I think that people have to understand, and sometimes people are fully aware of it as well, that they are being used as a political circus or, you know, something like a court gesture, and they don't care. Like we talked about on the last episode about souls for sale. We saw that in real time. Even when we see people like Elon Musk, we saw him there, Bezos, Zuckerberg. And I think people really have to understand visually, what does that represent? Oligarchy. People think about this capitalistic society, yes, but we don't understand. We can go back to the Rockefellers. We can go back to George Washington. Money and the people with money and the power have always ruled, even if it's in the shadows. People talk about a cabal, Illuminati. Well, now it's right in front of your face. These are the people that's pulling strings, and there's other individuals for sure that's more behind the scenes, but these are the people that's pulling the strings. These are the people that's making these things happen. And by seeing these individuals, it's like, oh, this is where things are going. So you see Tesla, right? So just think of these as brands. You see Tesla, you see Facebook or Meta, you see Amazon. We're talking about conglomerates that are running everyday lives of the people around us. And they are involved on the political stage right there at the inauguration for President Trump. So we see that aspect of it. We see the cooning that's going on. We see that aspect. We see entertainers that's trying to perform and kiss the ring. So that's still part of that cooning and buffooning. We see that aspect as well. And then now we see with things such as immigration, and now people are being scared about that, about ICE. And it's so crazy because a large percentage of Hispanics did vote for Donald Trump. It's wild to see how people can have this overall sentiment of, hey, I made it over. As long as I'm good, I'm not worried about y'all. I got mines, right? Like what we say about black people who are sellouts. That's what's going on in that community of seeing that. And one thing in particular, y'all, that has really frustrated me is sometimes when people try to blame the black community for Trump being president, oh, it's because y'all didn't go out and vote, or it's because of black men. But it's not. We had over 80% of black men vote for Donald Trump. Over 90% of black women, 80% of black men vote for Kamala Harris. 90% of black women, over 90, voted for Kamala Harris. Our group of Black Americans, or just Black people in general, if you want to just include all Black people, numbers wise, had the highest out of any other racial group, any other ethnic group. It was us. But then for some reason, we're always viewed as the people that have to put on that superhero cape to save America. And for once, Black people weren't outwardly overly ecstatic about Kamala Harris. It's even Black people's fault why we lost. That's very interesting to me. And I feel like that is a very racist trope that a lot of people don't understand. It's very subliminal. And that's what makes racism so dangerous, especially liberal racism, to be more specific. Because if she wins, we need you, Black people. Y'all need to go out and vote. Y'all need this because y'all the poorest. Y'all need this because y'all need these medical plans. Y'all need this for student loan debt. So then you're already tearing us down and telling us what we need to do, not viewing us as grown adults with thinking minds that we can choose whichever way that we want to go. Whoever has our best political interest, that's who we're going to go with, or should go with rather, not off of just identity, but what are you going to do for my people? But we go out and vote, and then we're told that we lost because of you. Well, maybe if more of you went out and voted. So it's like, God dang, man, like you want our kidney, you want the organs. Like, bro, we did everything that we viewed, or that certain people viewed that they were quote unquote supposed to do. People did their civic duties, people voted, and the people who didn't vote, I have no quarrel with, because if they didn't have something that aligned with your political interests, or something that you viewed was best for you, your family, and your community, that is your right. And that's saying a statement within itself. Maybe you should start coming with some more tangible solutions and things for my people. And I think that the people who didn't vote, check out our interview with Brother Chase. That was a great interview. Brother Chase, check that out. I'm gonna actually try to cue that up at the end of this episode so y'all can see that. But our most recent conversation with Brother Chase was about that same thing of, well, by me, and basically by Chase saying himself, by him choosing not to vote, was his political statement. And we saw that the Democratic Party still took a big butt whipping on a national stage. So let's say that Chase did vote. To play devil's advocate, it's like, okay, by me choosing to not vote, so then once they pull up those numbers and the stats, okay, these are the number of people who didn't vote. Now that's showing that they aren't just going out there just to vote because it's a Black woman, or just to vote because it's a Black person. People want solutions. People are tired. And people are so tired that they would rather sit out of certain political processes to prove their point of, hey, you need to bring something to the table for me and mine, so I will give you something in return. Because at the end of the day, these politicians work for you and they work for us. And if people feel like their voices are not heard, it is their American right to say, I will not participate. Now, when we take it a step further and we blame it on Black people, that's where it gets very dangerous, because we don't talk to white people about that, especially white women. You want to talk about reproductive rights and all these other things, but a lot of white women voted for Donald Trump. They could have told you on the outside, hey, we are for women and all this other stuff, but when they get back home, when they go back home to their white husband, or even their Black husband even, they're white first. America itself is a ideology. It's a white supremacist ideology. Whether we go back to manifest destiny, that this is their land and it was given to them by God. If we really break this down deep, right, they align themselves with the Israelites in the Bible, who we know were Black, but they align themselves with the Israelites in the Bible of America is our Canaan. America is our promised land. In the same way in the book of Exodus, or with Joshua, how they had to go in and man, woman, and child had to die. That's their same justification for America. This is our promised land. We are God's chosen people, right? Tell me if this is not aligning. We are God's chosen people. And the people that's currently there, they must go because they're in the way of our promised land. And God has given us full authority, doctrine of discovery, to civilize and move these people out the way, because this is for us. And their idea of America has been crumbling at its very foundation since its inception. That's why white supremacy is such a fragile thing. That's why we have terms such as white fragility. Robin DiAngelo, that book, of course, where white people are feeling threatened every single day. Everything that they do is based out of fear. There is a very poignant line in I think it's a limited series, if I'm not mistaken. It's about 6 episodes. American Primeval. You don't have to watch the full thing, but there's one line in the show where a Native American is asking the white Mormon lady who is trying to go throughout Utah, and when her people were captured and when she was trying to find her way back home, he had asked her, why are you so violent? Why are your people so violent? And they used the Bible and all these other things to justify what they're doing. And she had a one-word response, just one word. She said, fear. And I think in films, that's when people are really supposed to dissect, because that's when they tell us what's really going on. She said, fear. We do what we do out of fear. White America was afraid. Back then they were afraid. Today they are even more afraid because they know it's crumbling and they know it's a ticking time bomb. Because the very foundation, the very fabric of this thing was built off of something that cannot sustain itself. They know that each time that their daughter is dating a black man or marrying a black man, that their numbers are dwindling. Their idea of a white supremacist ideology is dwindling. That's why I must take away your history in the history books. That's why I must not talk about this, and Black History Month has to go, and we have to introduce critical race theory and all these other things. This is what that is. D.E.I is a code word for black and hiring black people, but they are the ultimate D.E.I hire. From day one, when they first arrived, that's D.E.I. You're getting something that you did not earn, that you don't deserve, and you're not even qualified for. That's why you have to take the best and the brightest, especially from our community, to help build what you have going on, and then say that we're dumb, deaf, and blind, and that we're such a great civilization that we did all these things on our own. If you look up Black inventors, look up that book in Sciences, you will see that the majority of things that you use on an everyday basis was created by foundational Black Americans. Fear is what drives them, being afraid. And what exactly are they afraid of? That's the even deeper question. It's the fear of a black planet. Literally, that's it. That's why anytime when we think about cases like Emmett Till, we can go to cases, I think the young brother's last name was Washington, if I'm not mistaken. He was mentally challenged, and this brother was burned at a stake in Texas. People bought tickets to see this. And the one major commonality in these themes of these things occurring is about a white woman alleging to be SA'd. I want people who speak the TikTok language know what I'm talking about. So that fear of their woman, or if their woman was caught in the act with the black man, she'll say that she was forced, right? We've seen this in more recent cases as well. It's the fear of knowing, okay, genetically speaking, two dominants, right? Or one dominant, two dominants can make a recessive, but two recessives can make a dominant, right? So they know just off of simple science, simple biology, hey, if we keep intermingling, that's why segregation, that's what people don't really talk about. Segregation was economic for sure, but it was also from the standpoint of if we mix and mingle with these people, we start to get a darker population over time, which then eventually becomes black. And then the very ideology, if you Google the word American, I got some homework for us, right? For all the family, Google the word American and see who pops up. Shout out to Wicked, who was on D.E.I's podcast, man. And he said something that was very profound to me about when we think about white America and just white Americans, they're titled as American. They could be from Germany, from Italy, any of these places, and they will be titled as American. Now, if I look up black people, they didn't have to be Black American or African American, Chinese person, Chinese American, any other group is hyphen American, except for white people, right? Even Native American. Think about how crazy it is. Even our people, and a lot of us are indigenous to this land, would be titled Indigenous American or Native American, not just American. Because this is their thing, this is their idea, this is their land. And that's what we see right now. So for all my people who might panic and might feel upset, like, look at what's going on, how can they act like this? This was all part of the plan. Black people, especially here in America, we move by such a moral compass. We are always the nicest, the most forgiving, living by morals and thinking that everybody else should too. But our biggest fault is expecting that from other groups. We think like that because we don't have to feel insecure because we know our greatness. But what we have to understand with them, they know what and where they lack, and that they can't allow us the same opportunities. They can't allow us even half or a tenth of the opportunities because they know even with the scraps, we're going to make something profound and amazing. And they can't risk that, and they know our greatness and our potential. That's why with President Trump, what we're seeing right now is this reaction to blackness. I got to take away DEI. I'm getting inaugurated on MLK Day. I'm going to bring this joker out to just talk like MLK, and we're going to laugh at him. I'm going to bring out Elon Musk. I'm going to bring out Zuckerberg, Bezos. I'm going to bring these people out to show you that I got your favorite billionaire in my back pocket. I'm going to bring out your favorite black entertainers to get you riled up, to get you emotional, to show you that I got them too. This is all a big flex. And then I'm going to sign executive order after executive order that we've been seeing, man. Trump, he's been signing everything, even on the files with MLK, which I'm cool with. But we've seen everything that he's doing right now. DEI, taking out those programs. We're seeing all these things going on. California with the mayor out there, with that sister, with Gavin Newsom, Karen Bass. Like, we see all these things going on. And I want for people to understand, don't let this make you emotional. For all my younger black people that's more in tune, I know that y'all really ain't tripping on it, but if you talking to your parents and if your grandparents and if they're getting emotional, which I understand, that they choose to vote left because they're thinking about their Medicare, they're thinking about their insulin, all that, which I completely understand. So they do have a right to feel emotional and worried and afraid. But I want for us, my younger folks, the younger generation, millennials, Gen Z, understand this is where it's our job to step up and to show them and to tell them we can't be panicking. Don't get emotional when you see him signing this new executive order or when you see him signing this and doing that. Don't get emotional. It's okay. Don't get emotional. Understand this is what they want. This is what white America voted for, and they're going to get exactly what they wanted, and it's going to end up hurting them. Because when we think about things when it comes towards insulin shots and all these other things, even in just the medical field by itself, they're the ones, a lot of them are overweight or addicted to drugs. See, when we think about crackhead, we think about black people, but nobody talks about meth. Nobody talks about fentanyl and all these other things as well. It's called an epidemic when it comes for them, but for us, it's the war on drugs. So it's about perception. So just understand, family, that don't panic. Dr. Supreme Understanding, man, shout out to that great brother. Had him on the platform as well. Check out that amazing interview. But he posted on his story, view this as a time for us to get closer together as a people, as a family. It's time for us to start meeting up again and for the lectures and stuff at the bookstores, at the libraries, at the black bookstores, more specifically, at black businesses, lounges, all these things, even such as this. Pull up, 3 Million Productions. Like, it's time for us to connect as a people, become one even more, become tighter, because that's what's needed. So that's the one positive that we can take out of this. Let's not be emotional because white supremacy is up in our face. That's expected. It's time for us to move closer as a people, move tighter as a people, and understand all we got is each other. So we got to build up our own black businesses. I was having a conversation with my mom where she was saying now it's time for these black businesses to start working on their infrastructure, because where are these black corporate individuals who might get fired or laid off from these DEI programs? We see CNN getting shut down and all these other things. Where are they supposed to go? Do we have our own that can already take them in and say, hey, we got y'all? Or are we still trying to work on this whole infrastructure thing? So I challenge myself, other black businesses, let's get our infrastructure together, because working black professionals need a new home. It's going to happen. So this is a blessing in disguise for all of us that we are really going to have to lean on each other. And that's perfectly fine, because we are all that we got, family. We are all that we got. Man, before we wrap up this segment, one other thing I did want to highlight is I saw this great sister on TikTok who was talking about our perception of time. And I want for our people and the family to really understand our perception of time when it comes towards our history has really been thrown off. We get worried when we see a Donald Trump and all these other things, or our parents or grandparents, about our future, which of course have concerns, but understand how ancient we are, right? Shabaka Stone, shout out to the great Dr. Kaba, man. Spiritual father of the show, I guess you could say, man. But Shabaka Stone, about him breaking down how the Pharaoh Shabaka with the Shabaka Stone was thousands of years already ancient with the pyramids. And reconnecting that Shabaka Stone that was ancient. So the same way that the pyramids are ancient to us, it was even more time that passed for him. I think it was around 2,600 years. Think about that, 2,600 years prior to him. And he's bringing those things together. And then we go another 2,600 plus, and we're here today. So understand time, how ancient we are. Once we understand that we've always been here and that we will always be here, our confidence, our concern level goes down. I'm not saying don't be aware, don't watch the news, don't take in what's going on, but understand who and what we are and how special we are. And that, in the words of the great Kendrick, we gonna be all right. So understand that, man, that everything is gonna work out for the best, and that at the end of the day, we are all that we got. So keep building on what we have. I saw all the layoffs at CNN, iHeart. I've seen some layoffs. So even for all my Black people that's involved in media, understand, man, create your own content, create your own stuff on the side, build that up. So just in case if something falls, make your platform the main thing, because that's all that you will be able to control. Jobs like that, take those jobs, but understand those jobs, as we see, they can be taken away from you. So build something that can. Let's build the infrastructure, family. So next topic, next segment, we're about to talk about Kendrick and SZA. So stay tuned, family. I love y'all. I appreciate y'all. Peace. All right, family, we are back. Earlier this week, the great Kendrick Lamar, the king of hip hop for my generation especially, had announced that he will be performing with SZA during the Super Bowl. I'm very happy for SZA, her rollout right now with the film that just came out with Keke Palmer. I got to check that out. It snowed earlier this week here in Atlanta, but I got to check that out. But yeah, man, Kendrick, I'm very excited for this brother. Like what I have stated before, I was a huge Drake fan throughout my childhood. I love Drake's music, but I love Kendrick too. And during my time, I was born in 97, so shout out to all my people that's late 20s, early 30s. But during my time period, throughout middle school, throughout high school, it was that Drake era, that J. Cole era, where Friday Night Lights was taking everything by storm. That Kendrick era, Good Kid, Mad City, where you had Kendrick going crazy. You had Wale, Big Sean. It was just this great time of real rappers, real MCs going crazy, where it was a real talented era. And seeing now that those giants, the big three, if you will, became Kendrick, became Drake, became Cole, and there was this constant friction, and Kendrick sliced the two of the three, and now, like what Kendrick said, it's just big me. And now with him announcing this performance with SZA, I'm very excited about that. Their dynamic, all the bangers that they've been pushing out recently, it all makes sense. So it's been one hell of a rollout, and I'm very excited because I know it's going to be very Black. I love it. It's going to be in New Orleans, very Black city. You know what I'm saying? So it's going to be a vibe. And I just want to say that I salute Kendrick. I'm proud of Kendrick for how he handled the beef, how he represented for our people, Black people here in America. I salute him, man. And I always had Drake at number one, but now, man, I got Kendrick in a whole nother stratosphere, because what he showed culturally, what he showed lyrically, what he showed strategically, he just checked off every box. And now it's his victory lap, in the words of Nip, and he's still propelling Nip's legacy. He got West Coast hip hop on his back. I can only help but to salute that, man. He's the truth. So shout out to Kendrick, shout out to SZA. The Super Bowl is going to be amazing. I got the Chiefs making it. I probably got Chiefs Eagles, but something's telling me the Commanders might just pull this off. So we might get Commanders Bills, but who knows? Either way, it's going to be a dope show. Very excited about what they got cooking up. And I would say, I would not be surprised if they came out with a joint collab album after the Super Bowl, and that would do numbers. They're already going on tour, so I think a joint album is only right. That's going to be crazy. They make magic, man. They make magic. SZA is so talented. Kendrick, what they just brewed up with TDE over the years is so much talent. So I got to salute Kendrick. It's that simple. How Drake is handling this entire beef, nasty work. Like we said before, he doesn't know how to take a L. He's a sore loser. And that's coming from a fan. So just seeing how everything has unfolded, Kendrick has handled himself like a boss. He has now entitled and entrenched himself in that legend category. He was already a legend, but he's legendary. I think Kendrick is the next Jay-Z. And what I mean by that is this. The way that people revere Hov and just feel like he's on a whole nother planet, and how his peers talk about him like, yo, that's Hov, like he's different. That's who and what Kendrick will be. That's what Drake was trying to become. We already know that Drake wanted to be Hov. He admired Hov. That generation, especially early 40s, late 30s, Hov was Drake of that time. So we have to, and when I say that, I'm not saying, guys, before all my hip hop heads start panicking, I'm not saying from a lyrical perspective and an MC, none of that, but I'm just saying off of iconic status, where Drake was known as the hit maker. He's the guy, if you need a hit, he's in a whole nother range. He got all the billboards. That was Hov, where everything was just super commercial. He's the guy. Like when you think of hip hop, when you think of superstardom, you think of Hov, thought of Drake. But Kendrick, he snatched that. So now Kendrick, he's going to be that guy. All the business deals is about to be coming to Kendrick. Everything that Drake was getting and the big record labels and all this other stuff, that's what Kendrick's about to get. PG Lang, what he's cooking up with that platform, his new label, creatively with PG Lang. It's just, it's Kendrick's time. And that's perfectly fine. He earned it. And for all the people out there, man, just study that, of how he just stayed in the shadows. And he was working. And he knew his opportunity with his op Drake was going to come. He's just chilling in the shadows. While Drake is getting all the recognition, all the awards, Kendrick knew one little slip up, I'll be ready. And I'm going to take my crown. I'm going to take the throne. And that's exactly what he did. So we can only help but to salute that, show love to that. Again, man, with the Super Bowl, I'm very excited about that with him and SZA. So y'all drop down in the comments if you guys are excited about Kendrick and SZA in the Super Bowl. But that's going to be very dope to see. I wonder what songs he's going to perform. All right. I know that really has to be on there. Luther, of course, 30 for 30. But they have a dope discography, man, between SZA by herself and Kendrick by himself. And it just shows, man, when you get opportunities, never be just too cool for it. Like, I don't need this opportunity, right? I think with Drake, it was reported that he was offered to perform at the Super Bowl multiple times and he turned it down. And I bet you now he wished that he did, because now Kendrick, he can notch that on the belt. He's going to give us one of the most iconic Super Bowl performances. I feel like Kendrick is one of the most underrated performers in any genre. When I saw what he had for Mr. Morale and the Big Steppers, I believe, on Prime a few years back, I'm like, this dude doing choreography. He got the dancers. Like, typically for rap concerts, you're just walking around. But he had an actual show, and it was designed with the costumes and movement going on, the lighting. This man is so meticulous, and that's what I love about Kendrick. His artistry is just pure. SZA as well. So I'm very excited about that. Y'all let me know your thoughts down in the comments. But hey, it's going to be a dope one, man. So we about to get on to the next topic. Stay tuned. On to our next segment of the show. Make sure to like, comment, and subscribe. Show love, man. And thank y'all. Thank y'all again. But this next one, for all my people in the TikTok streets, the YouTube streets, tonight's conversation. Tonight's conversation founded by the brother Ace Metaphor, seeing everything that's been going on about our guy Trip Fontaine, hopping out of there, man. Trip was a great brother. I feel like he made the show. Every single time he would get up to speak and that he was on the panel, people listened. Like what they say, Trip, he don't miss. Every type of perspective that was needed, he was right on time. And he was calm, he was smooth about it. So Trip will no longer be part of the show. That sucks, seeing that. Kitty and Keita, I believe, seeing those two ladies have a somewhat of a fallout and not be on the show as well. And they announced that this week. Ace Metaphor, I kind of like how he did handle things of just giving the PR statements, right, about we aren't going to address da-da-da-da-da at this time. I respected that, though, because even if he was in the wrong, I respect that he's not trying to bash. But Trip, seeing him, I just think that that's a major loss, seeing that they have over 1 million followers on Instagram. Their platform is amazing. They sell out venues that they go to. They got people fighting and arguing about relationships. I know Randy Rosario, she used to be on that platform before she started Let's Rant About It. So seeing them now go through their whole fighting and all of that, it's crazy to see, because I was just having a really good conversation with some friends about this. Like, we have got to study what's going wrong with these podcasts. And I'm seeing for the first time, Black people are learning and sometimes can't handle that executive hat. We're seeing that as people, Keita talking about it's a money issue. So 9 times out of 10 is always a money issue, especially when it comes with us. But I think that what's transpiring throughout these experiences is Ace Metaphor, and I'm not knocking him at all, the thing was probably growing astronomically to the point that he probably couldn't handle it. We've seen something with Turkey Leg Hut, right, where the couple is allegedly getting divorced and it was a money issue and all these other things. And I think what happens, we expect for things to blow up and be successful, but what we don't try to just brace ourselves for, if you will, is, okay, What if it exceeds our expectations? Then I got to get an accountant. I got to get a CPA. I have to get all these other things. And then now you're trying to figure out how to handle all of this attention, success, the ego's getting driven, while still trying to put Band-Aids and duct tape on leaks and not addressing those things before it even got to that point. Hearing one of the young ladies on the show talking about she never received the payment. I'm like, it's tough because it's like, did you make sure that you were covered first? Yes, you could say that AC's in the wrong, but where is our sense of accountability of, hey, next time I got to make sure that the paperwork is signed. Now, to Keita, to her credit, she did talk about that she has to take some form of accountability. Hey, as long as you say that, I'm cool with it. And we also have to be careful about bashing brands and stuff when we're no longer with those brands, even if we are on the same page, because where the problem lies in that is you never know who else is watching. And that's one thing I can say in Tripp's favor, how he was very diplomatic about it. He was laid back with it of, hey, I'm not really going to speak on it. It was a great experience. And if your platform was able to grow off of that, you can only be grateful for that. Yes, sometimes we got to take the L. I've taken L. Sometimes you just got to take the L, but take the lesson as well. Take what you were able to grow from that. Okay, I was able to grow my social media presence, my digital presence. So I can transfer that to my own platform. And like what I talked about in the previous segment, for all my people out there, especially my Black content creators, if you're helping push and grow and expand somebody else's brand, make sure that you are building your own brand, because you are the only person that you can count on consistently at the end of the day. So understand, I can only count on myself. I can only help myself. I'm the only person that's going to be left just in case if everything else hits the fan. And I see Trip, shout out to you, brother. You already been cooking. Would love to have you on the show. Seeing Trip, I already saw the play where he was starting his podcast and stuff a few months ago. So I'm like, oh, Trip, okay, he started a podcast, but he's still doing tonight's conversation. All right, cool. Now it all makes sense. My brother was already 10 steps ahead. My man said, I'm going to build up my platform right now while I'm still on the other platform. Bring y'all up over there, and I'm going to get something out of this. So, man, I love that. And now he's pushing his podcast. So, man, brother, I salute you on that. Kitty, seeing Keita going off about, hey, this, that, and the third about the money and not getting paid. I just want for us to understand. If you want to do a whole expose, she was being facetious and talked about a 500-part series, but I know she's not serious on TikTok, Risa Tisa style. But I want for us to be very cognizant about us trying to bash people and bash brands and our experiences. You can share those said experiences, but let's just be very careful because we never know what other potential brands and partnerships are looking at what we're doing. Even deeper into this topic matter, this Black relationship guru type of space is getting torn down every single moment. I'm not saying don't talk about relationships. This year, we're going to talk about our next episode potentially that might be dropping is focusing on Black relationships. I love talking about those things because apparently there is a market and a diet for it, but it's just how we go about it I can find very dangerous. When we present ourselves as gurus, or I have all the answers, or this is what you're supposed to do, instead of just having an open dialogue. And I'm not saying that tonight's conversation didn't do that, because technically it is an open dialogue, because the people show up to the live event and they ask questions, and you have a panel of different perspectives answering those questions. So I can't even knock that. But we've seen the Derrick Jacksons of the world. We've seen this person, that person, this person, that person, ever since the OG, Kevin Samuels, passed. It's like everybody's trying to replace that throne, and we just can't accept that he's just in a class by himself. Kevin Samuels really got this thing lit and crazy, but it's getting dangerous because we have people who aren't qualified to speak on these things and giving other people advice, and their stuff might not be together. I'm not saying that every person who should give advice should be in a perfect marriage and they should be perfect, but the people that's paying to go to these live events, the people that's subscribing to these platforms, the people that's donating to these platforms, the people that's mentally subscribing to these people in these platforms must understand they're imperfect individuals just like me, just like you. They're still trying to figure things out, just like me, just like you. So what they're telling me, you could take great advice from anybody. You could take great advice some days from the drunk on the corner. God could be using them to give you a message. But just understand that we can't pedestalize some of these people. We can look up to them, we can show them love. But when we put them on this pedestal of everything that they're saying is perfect, everything that this person is about and doing is perfect, that's where it can get very problematic for us. And we keep seeing this constant theme in this relationship space. We've seen it in the red pill space. We even see it in just regular podcasting, where we put these people on these pedestals and we get disappointed every single time. And seeing this with tonight's conversation, it's so multi-layered. It's like an onion, because you could talk about us handling Black business and ownership in the proper way, us handling fame in the right way, us handling treating people on our team right, relationships, Black love, Black men, Black women. It's so many ways to go about this. And I've seen people trying to hop on the platform to build their presence, which I'm not mad at, but we see Dr. Cheyenne Bryant trying to hop on tonight's conversation. We've seen Donnie Wiggins, I believe, if I'm not mistaken, is her name, the business coach from here in Atlanta. We've seen her, of course, with David Shands on Social Proof. So I'm seeing that people are trying to make that pivot into that arena, but it can be shaky. So the people that's getting in that arena, be very careful. The sister Keita, I believe is her name, was talking about how I need this money. And that kind of scared me, because I'm like, dang, you was really relying on that? She was like, some of us quit our jobs for this thing. And it made me think, I'm just like, sister, like before you even did that, should have made sure that your personal brand was also growing simultaneously. So now while this thing happens, which she could have been doing, and she had posted, make sure to subscribe to my channel, all of that stuff. Salute to her. Y'all make sure to tap in with that sister if you want to. But seeing that, I was like, okay, cool. So during this time, build up your own thing. So as a safety valve, just in case if tonight's conversation says, hey, let's part ways. Ace Metaphor says, let's part ways. You got something to fall back on. You don't want to be reactionary. You want to be proactive. So solutionary. So seeing that, man, that really sparked a lot of thoughts. I've seen that everybody debating about it, talking about it. But I think that we got to study and look. Minister Farrakhan, man, he has a famous line about don't laugh at the brother who you see fall. Take notes, listen, learn from that. Don't laugh, learn. And that won't be you, because it could be you too. Don't laugh, learn. Seeing this with tonight's conversation, a massive platform, make sure for all my people, prepare for the exceeded expectations of success, because it can happen for you. So just know that you have everything in place and in order, just in case when that does pop off, you got your business already taken care of. And that's so important for us, for Black business owners, Black content creators, to know that you gotta have your stuff in order. You gotta have your stuff together. You gotta have our business together. Have to prepare for the success. Make sure that the team is taken care of. And also, if you do get done dirty, you gotta do it in a very classy manner, because brands are always watching. People are always watching. And if they see, oh, okay, I see how you handled that. I respect that. And that made me want to work with you even more. Or also, you can prepare your own rollout of, hey, y'all, check out my new episode on my new podcast where I explain all of this. Randy Rosario, salute to that sister. Some people don't agree with her in the comments about let's rant about it when Anton posts the clips, but you don't have to like her as a host. I love her as a businesswoman from seeing, hey, she was like, all right, bet. I'm going to recreate my own tonight's conversation. Let's rant about it. She's going on tour. She's doing great. She's filming it. She's getting the content in. And now she owns that. Ownership, make sure that you guys are owning something. And everybody can't be an owner. Everybody's not built to own something. So if you know your role, learn from the owner. And if you want to become an owner, sometimes you taking that L, but still gaining those experiences from said person, you can still gain something from that broke clock that's right twice a day. You can still gain something from that person that did you dirty. You can take something just away from that and say, okay, I like what they did and I like what they didn't do. So I can apply X, Y, and Z, A, B, and C. I can take that out. That's what you can do. So constantly gain something from those experiences, own something. And if you know that, or if you don't have a desire to own something, make sure that you're beside someone that's still giving you gain, and apply that gain towards building something. Even if it's not owning something, just build something for your family. Have something, accumulate, learn. We can learn from anybody and make sure that we're surrounding ourselves around the right people. All my Black people, my Black content creators, my Black business owners, men and women. Make sure that we are creating conducive environments. Make sure that we are taking care of our people, our staff, our team, and also prepare for people to leave. Sometimes, let's say, who knows, devil's advocate, Ace Metaphor did everything that he was supposed to do. and said person was just upset about it, or there were some personal things going on. How are you going to handle, as a black business owner, strife? How are you going to handle people trying to expose you, or people being upset at you and a person trying to put you on blast? How are you going to handle that? So that's something else to gain from seeing tonight's conversation. How are you going to handle that? How are you going to handle the public potentially being against you, or people turning your backs on you? How are you going to rebuild? So there's so many things to learn and to gain. My favorite on that cast for sure was Trip. I loved him. He was very multi-layered. He was a solid brother. So I wish him the best. I can't wait to see what type of content he has cooking up. I'm most definitely going to reach out to the brother to potentially, and we're going to speak it into existence to have him on the show, because I'd love to chop it up with him. And not even about that, we wouldn't even talk about tonight's conversation, but just to focus on positive game for black young men, which is needed the most during this time. And you guys will see more content centered around that throughout the following months and throughout 2025. But yeah, guys, just understand that we got to learn how to move in each time. And I love when I see media, where we're seeing people go through strife in media and things like that. I try to tell myself, okay, what type of downloads can I gain from their experiences, so I can make sure to avoid those pitfalls, or to add said attributes to myself so I can enjoy the same successes. So keep observing, keep learning, and understand, okay, relationships are very important. So now I know, look out for this when I try to start my own tonight's conversation. So let's say that you want to get into that space. See what tonight's conversation did right, see what they did wrong, see what you like that's in the middle. Let's rant about it. When you see that, say, okay, I like this, I like that. Study the space, study the game, so you can provide something unique and different, and something healthier, even more authentic, something that's going to sustain. You want sustained success. Anton Daniels, I don't agree with everything that he says, but one thing that he did say about this topic matter is your character is what's going to keep you and sustain you. Your talent is what's going to get you in the room, but your character is what's going to sustain you. And for any individual, whether it's corporate America, whether you're a creative, whether you're just an everyday average Joe, your talent is what's going to get you in the room, but your character is what's going to sustain you. Once the money starts to roll in, and the success, the fame, notoriety, it's not a coincidence that that's when groups break apart. You can think about the Temptations, you can think about R&B groups, businesses, friendships. Once the money starts to roll in, and the success, the notoriety, the egos go up, the emotional intelligence begins to lower itself. And that's where the character must come into play, where, okay, let me balance out my ego. Because that's human nature, where that can start to get to your head. But your character, that's what's going to keep you balanced up. All right, I need to pipe down. I need to stay grounded. I need to stay focused. Some people's goal, y'all, is just for clout. It's not even for money. And I think that even got exposed, that we get so excited to get views and to be at a sold out show, and I'm the keynote speaker, I'm on the panel, and I get to take pictures and post the clips on my Instagram. It sounds cool, but did you take care of the business side first? The unsexy part. Did you take care of, I got to make sure I'm straight. So just in case some things do go left, I'm cool. Did we consider that? Did we think about, okay, this might be my friend right now, but anything could happen. He could just wake up one day and say, I don't fool with Caleb no more. I don't fool with you no more. I don't like you no more, Sally or John. I don't like you no more. What's my pivot now? Self-preservation is so important. And I'm not saying that in a way of you go into something as an opportunist. No, but make sure that you're good, that you're set, because they're making sure they're good and that they're set. Let's say allegedly that Ace Metaphor took all the money and did all these other crazy things. He made sure he was good. He made sure that he used your talents, use your notoriety, build up your brands, and bring it all the way over here. So you got to make sure that you're good. So my black content creators, my black business owners, my people, my family out there, make sure that y'all are good. Make sure that you take care of the business before you take care of anything else. Cheryl Underwood had a great interview on Club Shay Shay that dropped earlier this week. And Shannon was like, yo, why was you going to law school as a comedian? Why do you got all these degrees? And, you know, I was laughing at first when I was watching it with my family. And when she set a bar of, I did that because I wanted to be able to read my contracts. So my lawyers couldn't get over on me. My accountant, I know what I'm looking at. I said, bingo. We have to become more intelligent and more business savvy and more hungry. The same way that people are hungry for clout, we got to be hungry for our business acumen. because that's where people will still take advantage of you. Ace Metaphor, allegedly, if they felt like he took advantage of them, it's only because he found a way to take advantage of you. And I'm not saying that it's your fault, you're stupid. No, but I'm saying, so that right there shows us we got to make sure that we're fortified before we even get into the entertainment business, because that's what this is. We got to make sure that the business part of it is taken care of first. Why do you think that these agencies make so much money? These managers, all these other people who have no talent, but they're making money off the talent. And the talent comes and goes, but they stay. These directors, these brand owners, these label owners, they stay. The CEOs stay. The managers stay. The booking agents stay. The talent changes. So we got to make sure that if you are a talent, that you're also on the ownership side, that you're also an executive. We got to start doing both. And that is what will make us such a problem in a good way, a good problem. Some beast out there, if dang, he can get on this mic and talk his talk, but also on the business side, him and her, they taking care of the executive side too. I can't get over on them. That's what you want. You want to get all the bread that you can possibly get for yourself and for your family, so you can maximize on your gift, so you can share your gifts, you can share your resources ultimately with your community and the world at large. So take those notes from it, y'all. I appreciate y'all for tuning in. Then after this, we will wrap up the show. I love y'all. Comment below who you guys would like to see next on the show. And if you guys are enjoying Chilling with Caleb, stay tuned. Peace. Family, again, thank you all so much, for the very bottom of our hearts, myself, my wife Sid, the entire team, for just doing what you guys do by engaging with our content. We are nothing without y'all. We're still somebody. We're still special people, but we are hiding because of your interest in our conversations. Our purpose is further fulfilled by y'all tapping in. So thank y'all for always showing love. Just know that we have so much content queued up for you guys. We love y'all. We appreciate y'all. Like what I promised you guys. So hopefully I've been showing a little bit of consistency when it comes with Chilling with Caleb, because typically I will fall off because I get so encapsulated with the guests. But I've seen that you guys have engaged at a high level with this, of just us chopping it up and sitting down as a family. So I thank y'all for that. We will have some live shows in the summer. Potentially we got Phil Scott pulling up. Of course, we got Dr. Kaba pulling up, hopefully sometime in the summer. And we also want to do some get-togethers, gatherings of getting back to building community. And like what we opened up with about Trump, President Trump, I want for us to understand that this is our time. The same way that they got together, we got to get together. We got to start thinking. My good brother, Tariq Nasheed, he talks about us creating our own Black think tanks. That's what we got to do. And this starts at studios like 3 Milli Productions. This starts at our local bookstores, JB's Record Lounge, places like that, where here in Atlanta, where we can get together. It's a dope young sister. Matter of fact, I'm going to contact her too, here off of Auburn Avenue, historic area. People talk about Black Wall Street. I was Black Wall Street as well. She has a dope bookstore. It takes us getting in these environments, the Apex Museum off of Auburn Avenue. We got to start mixing, mingling. We got to get off those phones and get back to in-person contact. And you know, guys, I often think about Elijah in the Bible, right? How he thought he was the only one who was holy, or the only priest that was about God's work, the only prophet. Like, bro, I got thousands more. So there's thousands more people just like us, just like you out there, who want great information and to use that information towards building for their communities. So it's time for us to get together and to feel inspired. Because I'm telling y'all, it's nothing like being in a good, positive room, chopping it up with the family. It makes you feel good, like reinvigorated of, okay, I can do this. There's a person out there, if you're looking for a videographer to help you with your project, or you looking for a writer, or you looking for a sister that's selling water or cocoa butter or a vendor merch, and you might bump shoulders with that said individual that you've been looking for to get you to the next level. Just have family, community. That's what we got to get back to. So use this time for us to get back to our roots. I want to say that I love y'all. If you're going through a tough time, it's only going to get better. You just got to keep choosing to wake up, open up your eyes in the morning, and choosing life. Choose life, choose greatness. Just thank y'all, man. Stay encouraged, stay up. Next week, we're going to have some fresh topics to talk about, to digest. We had a crazy snow week. Snow Lanta, snowpocalypse. It was crazy. Cars sliding. Craziness going on here in Atlanta, but we made it through the week. So I know seasonal depression kicks in, where people feel off, especially this past week. We had Martin Luther King Day off, and then it snows right after that. So people's rhythm is thrown off after the holidays. You're trying to get back into that rhythm, and then it snowed right after the holidays, and it snows again. So I get it, family. All of us feeling wonky right now. All my people, New Year's resolutions that's trying to get back in the gym. I know most of y'all have fallen off because your schedules have been thrown off, but understand that you got this. Choose to get up. All you got to do is get up. Choose to get up and go. But thank y'all for always engaging with the content. Again, I'm not too cool to say thank you, man, just to see how far we've come and how far we're going to continue to go. So 30K is the next goal. That's our next target as a family. So help us get there. But let me know what topics you would like for us to talk about next. I'm excited for y'all to see the exclusive vlogs and content that we'll have dropping on Peep. That's P-E-E Peep. That is an exclusive content platform where you can monetize your platform instantly. So we have partnered with Peep. It's a startup. So I want you guys to check that out when that does drop. So you guys get to see the behind the scenes of our conversations before the conversations with the interviews and after the conversations with the same guests. During our interviews, the Chillin With Caleb's, to see how our studio operates day to day when we're hosting mixers, events, our clients, production shoots, all that good stuff. So just to let y'all into our world. But thank y'all, family. I love y'all. We went over 50 minutes, so I'm excited about that. See how this comes out, and we'll have this episode up. So until next week, stay encouraged, stay blessed, and understand that you have what it takes. And prepare, like we talked about, prepare for exceeded expectations. God's blessings is going to overflow your cup, the ancestors, to a point that you got to prepare for overflow. So I love y'all, family. Until next time, blessed be your host, Caleb Smith. Peace.